Hi everyone, it is Navneet Krishnan from IIT's GATE classes. In this section, we are going to see GATE 2021 solutions for aerospace engineering for the topic aircraft stability and control. A total of 8 marks has been asked in aircraft stability and control, in which 2 1-mark questions and 3 2-mark questions has been asked. In that first question, question number 13. CM alpha variation for certain aircraft is shown in the figure. Which of the following statements are true? They are given a figure, they are given a plot of Cm versus alpha. In this plot, dou Cm by dou alpha is positive. Okay, and at positive angle of attack, Cm not equal to 0. At positive angle of attack, Cm not equal to Cm equal to 0. Okay, that is pitching moment coefficient equal to 0. So we can see the options now. The aircraft can trim at positive angle of attack and it is stable. Trimming means the point, if we are trimmed condition means the point about which pitching moment coefficient is 0. So when it is positive angle of attack, pitching moment coefficient becomes 0, thereby aircraft is trimmed at positive angle of attack. So this portion is correct. Aircraft is trimmed at positive angle of attack. And it is stable. No, dou Cm by dou alpha is positive, which means the aircraft is unstable. For aircraft to be stable, dou Cm by dou alpha should be negative. So it is unstable. So option A is incorrect. Option B. The aircraft can trim at positive angle of attack and but it is unstable. Yeah, it is unstable and it is trimming at positive angle of attack. So option B is correct. Option C. The aircraft can trim at negative angle of attack and it is stable. No, option C is incorrect because only the aircraft can trim at positive angle of attack and it is unstable. The aircraft can trim at negative angle of attack but it is unstable. No, option D is also incorrect. So only option correct is option B. Okay. Next, question number 24. The aircraft with twin engine aircraft has the following conditions. The thrust produced per engine is 8,000 Newton. Span-wise distribution between the engines is 10 meter. Wing area is 50 meter square. Wingspan is 10 meter. Rudder deflection is Cn del R equal to minus 0.002 per degree. Density of air at sea level is 1.225 kilogram per meter cube. The rudder deflection in degrees required to maintain zero side slip at 100 meter per second in steady and level flight at sea level with the non-functional right engine is dash. Round up to 2 decimal places. First, what they given? Consider the aircraft is in top view. Okay, it is having a left engine and there is a right engine. The distance between two engines is 10 meter. But from the CG, each engine is 5 meter apart. From CG, it is 5 meter left and right. Each engine is placed. Now, right engine is non-functional. That is what given. So, the yawing moment towards starboard is positive. It is also creating a starboard because right engine is infunctional means there is no thrust produced by the right engine. So left engine is only producing thrust which is causing a yawing moment towards starboard. Yaw moment towards is positive according to our sign convention. So yaw moment is thrust into perpendicular distance, that is 5 meter. So thrust per engine is 8,000 Newton into 5. So it is 40,000 Newton meter. 40,000 Newton meter. Non-dimensionalized yawing moment is yawing moment coefficient Cn, which is nothing but yawing moment divided by half rho v square s into p, where s is the wing area, b is the wingspan. We always non-dimensionalize with respect to wing parameters. Okay. So we already know yawing moment, it is 40,000 divided by r. We know density equal to 1.225, which is given, and velocity is 100 meter per second into wing area is 50 meter square, wingspan is 10 meter. So yawing moment coefficient equal to 0.01306. Okay. So yawing moment coefficient is given as Cn alpha double dash, which is nothing but dou Cn by dou alpha double dash into alpha double dash plus Cn del R into del R, which is nothing but dou Cn by dou del R into del R, Cn beta into beta. This is nothing but dou Cn by dou beta into beta. If the aircraft is having traveling straight level, that means alpha double dash is 0. If the airplane is having 0 side slip, then beta equal to 0. If it is traveling in a steady and level flight, alpha double dash is equal to 0. If it is having 0 side slip, that means beta equal to 0. So both these parameter becomes 0. So Cn is nothing but Cn del R into del R. We already calculated what is Cn. It is 0.01306. Cn del R is nothing but minus 0.002, which is given. We have to find out what is del R. Del R equal to minus 6.53 degree when we round up to 2 decimal places. 6.53 degree. Okay. Next, for a conventional fixed wing aircraft, which of the following statements are true? It is a multi-cell question. That means the multiple answers are correct. So we have to see one by one what is the correct answer. Option A, making Cm alpha more negative leads to increased natural frequency for short period mode. The natural frequency for short period mode is given as m alpha, that is nothing but dou m by dou alpha into z alpha into mq divided by u naught. Okay. Now what happens when m alpha becomes more negative? That is Cm alpha becomes more negative. Cm alpha is directly proportional to m alpha, where it is dou Cm by dou alpha, pitching moment coefficient by alpha. M alpha is nothing but pitching moment divided by dou alpha. Change of pitching moment with respect to angle of attack. Here, change of pitching moment coefficient with respect to angle of attack. When Cm alpha becomes more negative, that means M alpha becomes more negative. Minus into minus becomes positive. So my natural frequency increases. So option A is correct. Now we will see option B. CMQ becomes more negative. CMQ becomes more negative means that is MQ becomes more negative. MQ becomes more negative leads to, this is already positive quantity. This is a negative quantity if Z alpha is positive. So my natural frequency decreases. So natural frequency decreases when MQ becomes more negative. That only happens when Z alpha is positive. Okay. But what happens is when usually Z alpha is negative. Usually Z alpha is negative. So already MQ is becoming more negative. That means Z alpha is, if Z alpha is negative, negative into negative becomes becomes a positive quantity. Already this is a positive quantity. Thereby natural frequency increases. MQ is a damping parameter, so it leads to more damping. When natural frequency increases, that means it leads to more damping. So, but here they are given a decreased damping, so option B is incorrect. Okay, MQ is a damping derivative, but since MQ becomes more negative, leads to more damping, increased damping. But here it is causing a, here in the statement they are given as decreased damping, so option B is incorrect. Now we'll see what happens to option C. Option C, they are given the primary contribution towards CLP is from the aircraft wing. CLP is nothing but rolling moment due to rolling velocity. Rolling moment due to rolling velocity or damping in roll parameter or damping in roll parameter. So CLP is nothing but given as dou CL by dou P, where CL is the rolling moment coefficient, where CL is the rolling moment coefficient, PP by 2V infinity, where P is the rolling velocity. Okay. Usually wing is a parameter which contributes more for the roll stability and roll damping. Okay. Primary contribution for roll stability and roll damping is only caused due to wing, because for roll stability and roll damping, the primary factor is dihedral wing, or second case is swept wing. Both these are the primary contributions for uh, dihedral stability, that is rolling stability and roll damping. So it is due to wing only. And second thing is rolling moment is also created due to wing only, the ailerons in the wing. Okay, so option C is correct. Now we'll see what happens to option D. Increasing size of the vertical fin leads to higher yaw damping. Yeah, when you increases vertical tail fin, what happens? It increases more yaw instability. That means more yaw damping. So if vertical fin or tail size is increased, yaw stability increases, thereby having a higher yaw damping. So option D is also correct because the primary contribution for directional stability, that is yaw stability, is due to vertical fin only. Vertical fin is nothing but the vertical tail. So more like yaw stability, that is directional stability, leads to more yaw damping. Okay. So in this question number 34, option A, option C, option D are correct. Next, it is also a multiple select question. A conventional question number 36. A conventional fixed wing aircraft with the horizontal tail and vertical fin in a steady and level flight is subjected to small perturbations. Which of the following statements are true? Vertical fin as a option A. Vertical fin as a stabilizing effect on lateral stability of the aircraft. Okay. The primary function of vertical fin is, what is the primary function of vertical fin? It's to provide more directional stability. But vertical tail also provides lateral stability also provides lateral stability also, because vertical fin also provides lateral stability and directional stability. It provides both. So option A is correct. Vertical fin has a destabilizing effect on the directional stability of aircraft. We already know vertical fin is the main contributing factor for directional stability of the aircraft. So it is the main contribution for stabilizing effect of the directional stability of aircraft. So option B is incorrect. Option C. Presence of wing anidle increases the lateral stability of the aircraft. Dihedral wing only increases the directional stability of the aircraft. Okay. Dihedral wing increases the directional stability of the aircraft. So presence of anhedral wing, it decreases the lateral stability of aircraft because dihedral wing is providing more lateral stability for the aircraft. So having a wing anhedral leads to negative lateral stability of the aircraft. That means it decreases the lateral stability of the aircraft. So option C is also incorrect. Option D. Ensemble tail has a stabilizing effect on longitudinal static stability of the aircraft. We already know that wing alone contribution is unstable. So only with the horizontal tail, it increases the stability of the aircraft. It causes stability of the aircraft in the longitudinal static motion. So having an horizontal tail leads to stabilizing effect in the longitudinal static stability of the aircraft. So option A and D are correct. Question number 36, option A and D are correct. So both B and C are wrong. Because if it is given it here as dihedral, then option C is correct. If it is given as stabilizing effect here, option B is correct then. But they are given opposite way, so option B and C are incorrect. Only option A and D are correct. Okay. Okay. Question number 55, the last question. Consider a jet transport airplane with the following specification. Lift curve slope for the wing body is dou CL of wing body by dou alpha of wing body equal to 0.1 per degree. Lift curve slope for the tail dou CLT by dou alpha T equal to 0.068 per degree. Tail area, that is horizontal tail area, ST equal to 8 E meter square. Wing area S equal to 350 meter square. The distance between mean aerodynamic centers of tail and wing body LT dash equal to 28 meter. Mean aerodynamic chord C bar equal to 9 meter. Downwash epsilon is directly proportional to equal to zero point 0.4 alpha. Axial location of wing body aerodynamic center is 0.25. Axial location of center of gravity xcg by c bar equal to 0.3. All axial locations are with respect to leading edge of the root chord and along the body x-axis. Okay. Ignore the propulsive effects. The pitching moment coefficient curve slope Cm alpha is dash per degree. Round up to 3 decimal places. Now, dou Cm by dou alpha is given as AW into lift curve slope into H minus HAC. H is the CG location. H minus HAC minus neta T VH into AT by AW into 1 minus dou epsilon by dou alpha. First, in that we have to find out VH equal to ST into LT divided by S into C bar. What is ST? 80 meter square. LT we doesn't know. S is equal to 350 meter square. Mean aerodynamic chord is 99 meter. Okay. This LT is not the LT required here because it is the distance between the aerodynamic center of the tail and the CG. But here it is given as aerodynamic center of tail and wing body. So this is the wing body, this is the aerodynamic center, this is CG of total aircraft, this is the aerodynamic center of wing, this is the aerodynamic center of tail. The aerodynamic center of tail and CG is the tail lift arm LT. But whatever the distance they are given here is distance between two aerodynamic centers, which is LT bar. Now, in this, we have to subtract the distance between aerodynamic center and CG. But we only know the distance from the leading edge to CG, which is nothing but 0.3 of C bar, because XCG is nothing but 0.3 into C bar. C bar if it is gone that side. And we all also know that the distance from the leading edge of the wing to aerodynamic center is 0.25 C bar. It is also given here. XAC equal to 0.25 of C bar. C bar is taken to the other side. Okay. So when I subtract this, 0.3 minus 0.25, I get the distance between aerodynamic center and CG. If I subtract from LT bar, I get tail lift arm. So LT bar is nothing but equal to, sorry, LT tail lift arm is nothing but LT bar, which is the distance between two aerodynamic center, minus XCG by C bar minus XAC by C bar into C bar, because this is in meter, so we should not be having a non-dimensionalized parameter, so we have to multiply by mean aerodynamic curve. So when I subtract CG location with respect to aerodynamic center location, I get the distance between aerodynamic center of the wing to CG of the aircraft. So this is 28 meter minus XCG bar is nothing but 0.3 minus XAC by C bar is nothing but 0.25 into C bar. C bar is 9 meter. Substituting that, I get my tail lift arm to be 27.55 meter. Okay, 27.55 meter. Now, what happens? We have to find out what is the tail lift cost. Now substitute here LTS 27.55. So we get my VH to be equal to 0.6997, and NT is not given, so we can assume it to be 1. NT is not given, so we can assume it to be 1. Okay, and dou epsilon by L, dou alpha. Epsilon is given as zero point 0.4 of alpha, so dou epsilon by dou alpha equal to zero point 0.4. Okay, this HCG and HAC are non-dimensionalized parameter with respect to chord. So we should not multiply with respect to chord length. Only you have to use 0.3, HCG as 0.3, HAC as 0.25, because already it is a non-dimensionalized equation. So we know lift curve slope of wing to be. So I am substituting each and every parameter, and we have AW is nothing but 0.1 into HCG is 0.3 minus HAC is 0.25 minus neta T is 1, VH is 0.6997, and AT is 0.068 per degree, and AW is again lift curve slope of the wing, which is 0.1 per degree, into VH. VH is 0.6997. Yeah, already we have written. And NT is 1 into 1 minus dou epsilon by dou alpha, which is nothing but 0.4, by multiplying all this, and we get dou Cm by dou alpha as minus 0.0235 per degree, because all lift curve slopes are in per degree. So we will get dou Cm by dou alpha also in per degree. Okay. So they asked us in three decimal places. So if I approximate it to three decimal places, so I get my dou Cm by dou alpha as 0.024 per Tg. Okay. Yeah. With this section is over. Thank you.